Hello, Scorpio, and welcome to Soul Guidance with Adriana. I'm Adriana, and I'm so excited to share today's intuitive reading with you. I'm really fascinated by this card. Beaver is the first card from our animal deck, and personally, this has a lot of significance because I've recently looked into Native American astrology, and Taurus, which is me, is a beaver. And Taurus or beaver happens to be the opposite of Scorpio, which is represented by the snake. So these two energies are very tied together. So I want to say we're starting the reading almost looking at duality, looking at opposites, even before we kind of even get into the meaning of these cards. So the message of Beaver is about doing what you love within balance, not giving up on what you love, and also making sure you're doing your work on your own terms, that no one else is telling you how and what and when and why and where to do, that it's all coming from you. There's that little castle that the beaver has built. And this is just a reminder that your dreams are your dreams. No one else tells you how to do them. They're there for you and for you to develop and enjoy. I want to see, I also do want to mention the other thing that fascinates me about beavers, why I love them so much, is that they really are masters at managing water. They are the only animal except for humans that changes landscapes, that builds things, that alters landscapes to fit their purposes. And managing water to me is a metaphor for managing emotion. They don't choke it off. They kind of know how to construct things so that the water nourishes them and other ecosystems, but it doesn't cut off the main flow of water. It just kind of slows it down. Really fascinating. I've watched way too many videos about beavers, so forgive me for my enthusiasm. Let's get into your tarot cards. Starting with the Three of Cups, celebration, lovely energy. Beneficial energy for you, Three of Roots. And that's funny because these are kind of tied now together. The work card, because he's doing work, and busy beaver always working, right? Even the colors are similar. Let me hide this one for a second. You see how the colors are reversed? So again, that idea of opposites. This is such a fun reading. 10 of Cups, overflowing. That being the challenging energy, which is funny. So we're looking about staying in balance. We're looking at staying in balance. And I really believe this is that work and play balance. The Three of Cups is play, right? Celebration with other people, coming together, everyone bringing their gifts, having a great time. The work card, Three of Roots, is putting in effort in order to achieve something. Maybe not achieving it yet, but you're putting in a little bit of work, a little bit of effort, building a little bit of foundation in quest for something. This badger is questing after the horn, which is tangled around these roots. And for him, part of the joy is in questing. So I believe all of these cards here are telling you to have more joy in work, bring more joy into what you're doing, into the effort you're putting in. Work and play are opposites, right? All work, no play makes Jack a dull boy. I think that's the saying. So when you overdo work, then there's no sense of fun. When you overdo fun, or 10 of Cups here, then there's no pride and real sense of accomplishment and belonging and responsibility. I've kind of observed through my observations of families and of wonderful educational programs like the Golden Girls, that kids actually sometimes really enjoy having chores. They may complain about them, but in the end, it gives them a sense of pride and of belonging, and that a sense that they're achieving something, in that they're contributing. And these cards are all about contribution. What can we bring to these situations? What can we share with others? How can we bring more joy into that act of sharing with others, instead of just wanting the good all the time, and just blessings to rain down on you from heaven from nowhere? I mean, that's lovely. And it's awesome when that happens. But I almost feel like These cards are asking you to embrace the work a little bit more. In fact, I'm just noticing this now. I probably said it, but the little keyword on the beaver card is work, and the keyword on the Three of Roots is work. So there's a double work message, just like you've got double cups here. Sorry, my head went somewhere else with that. So this is about finding the joy in the work. Work doesn't all have to be hard. Tests don't all have to be painful. There's a joy in it, a joy in learning something, a joy in, well, okay, that didn't work, but let's try again. There will come a time when what you're working on will pay off in a bigger way that will feel like more flow, but for the time being, it's still at the early stages. And so it's more beneficial for you to just look for joy in this spiritual process rather than wanting to skip the process and go straight to the joy. Let's get a few more cards. Got Emperor, card number 4. And Mother of Horns. They really are playing with opposites here, you know, control and flow. Where are they going with this one? They're giving me a phrase, using your creativity to create new boundaries, to create new structures. So rather than just milling about in the water, having a great time flowing, they're saying dive down to the mud and bring up some of that mud and create something. Make something out of the flow instead of just going along with it. If you like the beavers, divert the flow. You know, maybe you're going to make a dam or you're going to make a pond, but do something creative with the flow. It's directing the flow, but it's also creating. By the way, beavers will actually use mud. If you didn't know that, they'll use mud to build their lodges and their huts and things like that. They last. It's stronger than concrete. It's more effective working with running water than with concrete. So what connection is coming through my head now is that the following of your intuition is always going to be much stronger than the constructions of the rational mind. But when you put them together, when you sense from that flow something that needs to be built tangibly, then that's really the best of both worlds. Because I feel like that's what happens with beavers. From countless hours that I've spent watching beaver videos on YouTube, and I mean the animal videos, they respond to what's going on in the moment. They don't just set up something and walk away like what humans do. They respond to things, they reinforce, they say, oh, this needs to happen here, this needs to happen here. And that's the type of activities that we're looking at. We're not looking at this universal kind of Pisces flow at the moment. We're looking at, okay, I've done this much, now where do I need to respond? Okay, I've done this much, now where do I need to respond? And there's a fun because there's a diversity in what you're responding to. It's not all the same thing all the time. So if you find yourself kind of stuck in a rut, see if you can pull yourself out and find something else to kind of get involved with or curious about, or maybe something else needs to be played with or patched up a bit. Okay, my guides are telling me to close, so I will close that reading. Thank you so much for joining me. It's always so exciting to see you here. And I'm really looking forward to seeing you in the new year. Have a good one, Scorpio.